examination, right? Exactly. You are going to face a written test plus MCQ test. Okay. 20 marks for MCQ and 30 marks for written. Okay. Okay. So children, let us start again. And a familiar topic. Before, as I have told you, we need to discuss the topic under CBSE. The topic or syllabus under CBSE for this time is active and passive voice. Before jumping into the active and passive voice, I would like to train you with kinds of sentences. Okay, we have kinds of sentences. This topic is very familiar. Right from 5th standard, you people are learning it, right? I hope that this is very clear and you don't want any special training on this. So only one period, only this period can be used for training you in kinds of sentences, right? I think so, right? Are you familiar with the kinds of sentences? There are 4 kinds of sentences, right?
Yes,
See, yeah. See, children, let us start from kinds of sentences today. Once that is over, we'll be moving into the active and passive voice because you are thorough with the tense forms. And now we are moving to the sentences also. No, modal auxiliaries also we could complete. And now we are actually coming into the track called active and passive voice. We need to learn more about active and passive voice. To know more about active and passive voice, we need to know what are the kinds of sentences. Remember, children, see, we are communicating every day, isn't it? Every day we are communicating. And to Aliza, Alia, to Anlia, and to Krishnaveni, to Thomas Chacko, to Vinayak, to Aliza, Alana, Jason, to everyone we are talking every day. Are we using the same pattern of sentences when we communicate with them? No, we are not, right? See, we are looking at their eyes with some facial expressions, right? Hi, how are you? Right? We are using certain voice modulations, right? Hello, here I am. Okay. Or you are using some kind of, oh, what is this? Yeah. You're using some kind of facial expressions, right? When you teach or when you talk with someone. So when we speak English, okay, if it is a spoken language or if we are listening or we are actually looking at somebody's eyes, we can read what is their expression, whether they are angry or whether they are happy or excited. We can read it from their face, isn't it? But try to think that you are writing a story, okay? You people are writing a story. Can you use these facial expressions, voice modulations, everything in a story?
No.
Impossible. We can't even, right? We cannot use these kind of voice modulations, facial expressions, and the method. Everything is different, right? But we need to express the same point, right? We need to show that we are sad. We can use certain words. Apart from words, we have to, or we are forced used or use certain punctuation marks, right? If it is a conversation between 2 people, normally the dialogues are written using the inverted commas, right? If I'm excited, you are using a punctuation mark called exclamation, right? If you're asking a question, it is not in the pattern of a sentence, right? Question, the format is totally different, right? And you are giving a question mark to at the end of your sentence also, right? So a spoken English is totally different from a written language. So to write something, to express our ideas, to share or to pass on informations, to instruct for giving instruction for someone, we are using different kinds of sentences, right? All these different kinds of sentences are coming under the first type of sentence called simple sentences. Okay, remember, simple sentences. The word itself is an answer for you. A sentence which is very simple in form. It is very easy to digest. It is very easy to understand. It is very easy to write or frame, right? So these kinds of sentences are actually divided into 4. Okay, based on the structure, based on the pattern, based on the instructions, we have divided these simple sentences into 4 forms, and that are, or those are, kinds of sentences. And you know the kinds of sentences are declarative sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and the last one is exclamatory sentence. I don't want to explain it much to you guys because you're very, very clear about all these 4 kinds of sentences. Anyway, let me talk about declarative sentence. What is the use of a declarative sentence in a sentence? Remember, if it is a simple sentence, it has only one subject. Okay, we should write only one subject, or we should begin our sentence with one subject, and it has only one small predicate part. It has a tail called predicate, and in the predicate part, you can see the finite verb, subject, predicate, and the finite verb. This is the structure of your simple sentences. Remember, simple sentences, a small sentence consists of one subject, one predicate, and the predicate part contains only one finite verb. You all know finite verbs, it helps us to identify the tense form. So we'll be able to identify the finite verb, and we'll be able to identify the tense form by looking at the finite verb also. Clear? At the same time, what are declarative sentences? For what we are using declarative sentences in written language?
To convey ideas.
To
Convey our idea.
to convey ideas. So do we need to use interrogatives for conveying our ideas?
Ma'am, it states something.
You fight with me through dialogues. I am here to fight with you today. So let us have a good, healthy fighting competition with words and sentences today. Steve, smile, my son. Keeping a serious face. Yes. Yeah. How beautiful. No, how handsome you are with a smile. Keep a smile on your face. Okay, fine. Shivanya, come on. Come on.
Ma'am, it states something like...
You are looking somewhere and telling. Yeah. Anyway, your statement is perfect. Okay, we are using a declarative statement or declarative sentence to state something. It can be a fact. Okay, it can be a truth. Okay, statement. It declares, it gives some idea, or it passes on information. I do request everybody to note, we are using a declarative sentence to declare, to give a statement, to pass on information. I underline pass on information. So remember, it is a statement, so it has a structure. Okay, the structure of a statement sentences, subject, verb, object pattern. Okay, there is a structure for a declarative sentence. The structure of a declarative sentence, or it is normally is subject plus verb plus object. Okay, subject plus verb plus object. Rudra, are you chatting and are you not listening?
I'm listening to your class.
Listening to my class. So you tell me what I discussed just now.
Ma'am, you discussed about.
I discussed. Tell me what I discussed here in the class. Left. Stuck. Facing internet issue. Okay, so children, everyone listen here. We were talking about declarative sentence. As I have told you, declarative sentences are, or it is used for giving declaration, giving statements, and also to pass on information. Okay, we are sharing, as she said, we are conveying some information from one person to the other person. And remember, the sentence is starting with a capital letter and it ends with a full stop. The punctuation mark shows that this part of the sentence is complete and this is a statement. Okay, this is a statement. I am not a doctor, I am a teacher. Okay, I am not a doctor, but I am a teacher. Both the sentences are simple sentences, right? I am not a doctor, it is a negative sentence, and I am a teacher is a positive sentence. Like, so children, there is another name for the declarative sentence, that is assertive sentence. Okay, another name for the declarative sentences, we are calling it as a statement sentence, and we can also call it as an assertive sentence. Remember, I am a teacher is an assertive affirmative sentence. All the positive sentences are called affirmative sentences in English grammar. Okay, affirmative, the term means positive. Assertive, the term means it is in the form of a declaration. It is in the form of a statement. Okay, so assertive. Give me an example for assertive affirmative means give a declaration or give a statement with positive or positive sides in it, where you are not using not in it. At the same time, I am not a doctor. The statement is a negative statement because I have used not, not in it. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
declarative, it is also called statement sentences. Declarative, it is also called assertive sentences. And we have affirmative sentences and negative sentences. Affirmatives are positive sentences. Negatives are with sentences with not, N-O-N-E, none, N-O-T-H-I-N-G, nothing, N-O, no, hardly, seldom, rarely, scarcely. All these words, if it is attached in the sentence, or neither nor, all these words attached, if it is there, if it is seen there in a sentence, such a sentences are examples for negative affirmative assertive sentences. Okay, so affirmative means positive, negative, those sentences which contains or which has not, none, never, neither nor, such words in it. Okay, nothing, such words in it. Okay, so declarative sentences are statement sentences beginning with capital letter, ending with full stop, where you can see only one subject, one predicate, and only one finite verb, which shows the exact time of action. Clear?
What is the other name of declarative?
Assertive. Assertive. The sentence is also called assertive. Okay, the second one. Let us talk about the second kind of sentence, that is imperative. Okay, this is called an imperative sentence. Normally, children, when we talk about a recipe preparation, right? Recipe, prepare a cake. How to give instruction? I think Alia is a good cook. Alia, can you give me the recipe? Can you tell me how to prepare a cake, how to bake a cake? Or okay, how to prepare chicken curry? Let us see. Curry is a Malayalam word, but it is used in English. Okay, curry is a loaned word. Loaned word means it English Britishers has loaned that particular word into English. So you people, you are all not only tasting, you know how to cook it, right? I don't know, but I'm learning it from you. So please teach me how to prepare chicken curry. Chicken, why I said, because if I said sambar, you don't know most of the terms like coriander powder. These things should be used. You won't use it, I know. So tell me how to prepare chicken curry. Give me a recipe. You please teach me. Give me instructions. I'm ready. I have a chicken piece here. Many chicken pieces are kept on a bowl here. And I have many powders here. I have chili powder here. I have masala here. I have, I don't know, many things are here. Even chili, grinded onion, everything is I kept. So please help me how to prepare chicken curry. I'm ready. My gas stove is on. No. Why no? You should tell me. I need to prepare. Towards the end of the class, I need to serve it for you. Give me instructs. Give me. No way, ma'am. I know only to eat. I'm not even touching the kitchen cupboard. Today itself, learn how to cook chicken curry. Okay, so who is a very good chef in this class? Who knows? Ma'am, I don't know. Where is kitchen? I don't know. Right, kitchen, I think it is in the right side of my home, or it is in the left side of my home. If I ask the same question to my Abhishek, he'll be able to identify where is the place for, at least he is going there to fight with his mother. So he know the place where is the kitchen. So Abhishek, please instruct me. Please tell me how to prepare chicken curry. Today, with the help of imperatives, I'm going to teach. Give me instructions. So for giving instructions, we are using imperatives, right? So Abhishek, please tell me. Ma'am? You take chicken pieces. Okay, ready? Taking chicken pieces. Wash it. Okay, I'm washing it. Take a appropriate bowl for cooking it, or pan for cooking it. Okay, I have taken. Now, please help me, children.
Your video is off.
Now it is on. Anyway, I'm preparing some chicken curry here. So please tell me, who is ready to help me? Nobody in this class? Shame.
We should cook chicken.
I have to cook chicken. Sorry, chicken. So I don't want to pour some water in it. No. I washed and I kept it here. Then what is next step? Children, take it very seriously and give me instructions. You are in 9th standard. Steve?
Yeah.
I want your help. These girls, they don't know anything about cooking and all. Please tell me, my son.
You should cut into pieces.
See, cut it into pieces. Okay, the full chicken is ready. So I am just cutting into pieces. Okay, pieces are ready now.
We should apply some masalas.
Apply some masala. Next step. Okay, I applied all the masalas.
You should marinate it.
Ah, marinates. See how beautifully he's giving me the instructions. Marinate. Okay, did.
Then after you should cook it.
Only this much. Now I can put it in the main pan and I can serve it everyone. Cook it for 3 minutes, right? Leave it for 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. Now it is fresh. A fresh chicken smelly spicy curry is ready in front of you. See, the word when he was using, when he was giving me the instruction, he was very keen that he is starting his sentence with a verb. Isn't it? Take, ma'am. Cut it into pieces, ma'am. Keep it in the pan, ma'am. Just take a pan, ma'am. Okay, he is using or he is starting his imperative sentence. He's giving me the instruction with a verb. Okay, the starting sentence is actually with a verb. Something is missing there. What is missing there? In a declarative sentence, I have told you to begin your declarative sentence with a subject, predicate, and subject, verb, object. Okay, at the same time, when Steve Saju was giving me the instruction, he was very particular. He was just using the verb. So which was the subject there? Or which subject he should use there?
You.
You. Remember, the subject of an imperative sentence is always you. The second person pronoun you is said to be the subject of the sentence. Okay. If it is imperative, and remember that is hidden all the time. You won't see an imperative sentence with subject you. Okay. Normally, if it is an imperative sentence, it is starting with a verb and the hidden subject is you. Okay, so remember, this is the only technique that you can identify or to distinguish an imperative sentence from a declarative sentence, because imperative and declarative sentences are ending with full stop. This full stop is called the period of time. But some sentences, like some imperatives, are ending with exclamation mark also. We are using exclamation marks in imperatives. So remember, if the sentence is ending with exclamation mark, but it is starting with a verb, then that is an example for an imperative sentence. Okay, so we can use two different punctuation marks in imperatives. Imperatives, we are ending normally with a full stop, and also you can use an exclamation mark towards the end to end your imperative sentence. But remember, when you start your imperative sentence, you have to use only the verb. Okay, this is the only keyword, or this is the only idea I can share with you, and this is used for giving instructions. Okay, we are requesting, we can request, we can use an imperative sentence in the form of a request. We can use an imperative sentence in the form for giving commands. Strong, powerful commands can be given with the help of an imperative. Okay, and we can use for giving advices. Okay, and as I have told you earlier, imperatives also, it is having an affirmative form and a negative form. Okay, imperatives, it is having affirmative or positive forms like get out, shut up, open the door, close the door, come here, sit with me. All these words are, all these sentences are actually starting with a verb. And if it is a request, you can add a magical word called please come here, please talk to me, please give me a cup of tea, please come here. All these words, if you add please, that is a request, isn't it? Isn't it, children? So remember, you is a hidden subject for imperatives. Now let us talk about the third one. The easiest one. It is easy to identify because it has a great punctuation mark called question mark. Okay, if we are using question mark, if the sentence is ending with a question mark, then that is an example for interrogative sentences. Okay, children, interrogative sentences are ending with a question mark normally. So interrogatives are question sentences. All the questions are examples for interrogative. Remember, like imperative, we have in interrogatives also, we have, these are coming under the simple sentences. So you can see only one subject in an interrogative and one finite verb. Then that is a part of a predicate also. Am I clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So questions. As you all know, as you are all very clear about the questions, we are normally constructing a question in a pattern called question word plus. Tell me the
Yes.
structure of the question.
Yes or
Yes
no
or
question.
no?
Is it yes or no question or WH question?
WH question.
Okay, if your interrogative sentence is a WH question, how or what is the structure of your sentence? Tell me the structure of your sentence. How to set your question. See, where are you going, right? Where are you going? If the question is starting with WH word, remember, I am asking. I want an answer from you. a particular answer from you, right? Where
Yes.
are you going, Shivanya? This is my period now. Then where are you going? Ma'am, I actually want to give some water to my grandfather who is actually searching for water here, right? So what is my next step? Sit there. This is grammar class. Let your grandfather come and drink. No, that is bad, right? So she has to go and help her grandfather for drinking water, right? Yes or no? Good children always support grandparents, right? I know
Yes.
your grandfather, Steve, is such a nice fellow. Okay, nice man, gentleman. Okay, so children, I don't know how many of you have grandparents at home. Shivanya, I know. Mithun, I know. Asin, I know.
I have.
You have grandfather and grandmother. So you people are all blessed. No, are you sitting with them for hearing stories?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
They used to tell 100 stories. My grandparents, they were my treasures, because I know 1001 story from them. I heard it during my childhood because I was blessed. I was staying with my grandparents. So my grandfather and grandmother, they used to tell me a lot of stories during my childhood days. Okay, so I do love grandparents all the time. Okay, we are equal to, no, we can say that in Malayalam, if you ask Sini ma'am is here, if you ask Sini ma'am, no, we normally says that രണ്ടാം ബാല്യമാണ് വാർദ്ധക്യം, right? They behave like you kids. You are equal to your grandfather. You can see that they are sometimes getting angry like you. They are so loving like you. They are also coming for fighting with us only because they are very sensitive at this age. Okay, so we need to support them all the time, right? So children, listen here. So we are talking about not grandparents here. We are talking about questions here. Okay, so we are talking about questions. I asked a question to Shivanya. Shivanya, where are you going? I got an answer. Grandfather is here. I need to give some water, ma'am. I'll come back soon. Okay. So I got a particular answer from Shivanya. If I ask the same question to Vinayak, where are you now? I am hiding, ma'am, because I don't want to answer to your questions, right? Where were you, Vinayak? Video was off.
I am here.
I am here. Okay, I am here, ma'am. Okay, I got another answer. Okay, if I ask the same question to Abhishek, where are you going now? Nowhere, ma'am. You just asked a question, right? Tia Tojo.
Yes.
Tia Tojo. Tell me your favorite color. Which is your favorite color?
Black.
Black. Black is the color of morning, right? Okay, no problem. Black. Prarthana, which is your favorite movie?
Recalled.
Ma'am, I
Don't
have.
tell your movie, okay? Some other person's movie.
Ma'am, Lucifer.
Is it Papi Apacha? No. So tell me.
Ma'am, I don't have a favorite movies. Every movie is a favorite.
Every movie, so professional. She's a professional. That is why she is actually diplomatic in her answer. So if I ask the same question to Catherine Shahjahan, what did you do in the morning? Nothing, ma'am. I got up only at 10 o'clock. I finished my breakfast at 11 o'clock. Then I slept for a while. Then I had my lunch at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock or 2:30. Then now I am sitting in grammar class, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Today
ma'am.
is-
At what time you got up today? I think it is 10:30. I said a
No.
little early, right? Okay, no problem. So get up at 6 o'clock every day morning. Okay. Okay, fine. So let us come back. If I ask a question with WH question words, remember, I'll be getting a different answer. Same question if I ask, what is your name? Catherine will be giving me an answer, ma'am, my name is Catherine. The same question if I ask to Neema, she'll be saying, ma'am, my name is Neema. My name is Krishnaveni, Abhinav, Tia, different answers, right? So to get different answers, to get right answer, we should begin our question with WH word. Okay, so these are called WH questions. We are collecting information from people using WH question. There is a pattern for asking a question. We should begin our question with a question word plus, tell me.
Question mark.
Ma'am, end with question mark.
Question mark.
No. You complete the structure first. Ending with question mark, everybody knows. If it is a question, it
Yes.
should end with a question mark. Tell me the
WH
pattern, the structure of the
word.
question first.
Plus
Started
Word
W.
plus
Subject plus?
Verb.
Is it starting with a subject?
WH
This
word.
words.
Okay, if the question is starting with the WH, it is called a question word, right? Question word plus,
Subject.
look at the structure. Where are you Going. Okay, where are you going? Now you tell me the structure of the question.
Work
Question
plus
word plus. What is this?
Verb.
What verb?
Modal
Modal.
Is it a modal auxiliary?
Primary
It is a
Primary.
primary auxiliary. So what is it? You said the answer.
Ma'am, B form. B
No, no,
form.
no. I am not talking about the division. You tell me what kind of verb is it?
Auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary.
Question word plus auxiliary verb
Auxiliary
plus.
verb
What is
plus.
this?
Subject.
Subject.
Plus.
Okay, this is the main verb. Okay, plus main verb ends with a question mark. This is the structure of framing a question. Okay, when you frame a question, use the structure. Question word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. Okay, question word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb is the structure of your question. If it is a WH question, if you're setting a WH question, see if you get some statements and you are asked to set a question, means look at the tense of the sentence. Okay, if the sentence is in simple present, set your question in simple present. You're not changing the question's tense form. Okay, you have got a proper statement, and if it is told you to set a question for that, remember you're not changing the tense of the sentence. You have to use the same tense when you frame a question. Clear? Am I clear? So we'll talk about these interrogators in the next class, children. Thank you so much for coming here and actively participating in the cookery show. Thank you. See you in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Saturday.
Bye,
So
ma'am.
Saturday, when you come, you remember that you have to bring your conversation. We'll answer
Okay,
it.
ma'am.
We'll check the answers.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine. See
Thank
you.
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.